We're joined now by Mr. Chima Nnaji, who is a legal practitioner and the public affairs analyst. Thank you for coming on this morning.
Good morning.
We've been speaking with the INEC's Director of Voter Education and Publicity, Mr. Oluwole Ostaze Uzi, who was trying to shed some light on this 30,000 additional polling units, which will bring the polling units nationwide to 150,000. Well, part of what that bulletin did say is that they're trying to pledge, or trying to keep to its pledge and determination to decongest the polling unit, and so that's why they've come up with this strategy. He says, look, INEC officials, everyone has agreed on this one, that many of the key people who were supposed to be were present at that meeting when this was agreed upon, so no need crying wolf, because there is none, he says.
First and foremost, it's unfortunate I didn't start with him when you put him on, because I was in transit then. But I chanced into part of the discussion just for maybe 3-4 minutes. In the first instance, I don't think he is the person, with due respect to him, that should be on set defending or explaining this development at this stage.
Who do you think should?
By his portfolio, it is when everything has been sorted out that he should now begin to explain to voters or inform them about what the situation on ground is. Now it is still a very contestable development. And I can understand the psychology behind fronting him. You know, it's not good to send somebody who did not participate in the illegal burial of a corpse. Because if he comes for exhuming, he will exhume from the legs.
But he's a civil servant, and so the process
that's why
that
he had to do the job. As a civil servant, he's on duty, under obligation to obey lawful instructions.
No, but
what I'm saying is that you could see he was struggling. You understand? He wasn't part of that decision process. His business is to explain it. But we have not gotten to the point of explanation, because Nigerians are still baffled about the illogic that informed this type of decision. So we should be talking about either Jega himself, who supervised the process of arriving at this dubious decision, or the man in operations, who perhaps may have been saddled with the responsibility of working out the modalities.
If we call it dubious, aren't we being hasty? Because we want to believe that this was based on some science. We're dealing with figures here.
Well, science is a universal thing. If you are a scientist, it doesn't matter that it was something carried out in America. The procedures are done. Then once you know the procedure, let INEC tell us the basis. Is it mathematical science, or geography, or demographic studies that we do not know about? The issue is, how did INEC come to this particular decision? It turns logic upside down. I heard some of the very relevant questions asked, and these questions cannot be answered by the gentleman, with due respect to him, because he probably was not privy. It appears that even I may not want to be too presumptuous, but it is a very baffling coincidence that immediately after fouling the air, the chairman of INEC found it convenient to disappear from the scene. He should be here to clear the air.
Even if he wants.
Because if it were something for credit for INEC, he would have postponed his trip to come and take the credit.
But he's not gone forever, is he?
He's not gone forever, but perhaps he was trying to wait to see if time, like in the Nigerian circumstance, will bam over what is happening. It's not going to go away, because it's a structural thing. It's a structural rigging of elections.
For instance, I mean,
in favor of certain locations of this country.
The Director of Voter Education and Publicity of INEC just told us that this column, where we see highlighted additional / excess polling units, where you see the minus 805 for Anambra, minus 545 for Bayelsa, minus 727 for Ekiti, minus 150 for Enugu, and then minus 200 for Osun. He says,
you also have that in your
yes, I have. Yeah. It is in the public domain.
He says no state they're not taking away any polling unit. No state is going to lose any polling unit. So What do you disagree with about this development?
They said 30 additional. Is it not 30,000 additional polling units? Look, Chamberlain, this is no longer the age where you carry cotton wool and pull over people's eyes. People are intelligent, more intelligent by virtue of the information available to them. So there is no reason why people in authority will arrogate to themselves the power of knowledge beyond what they know. Okay? They say 30,000 polling units. If the status quo ante was acceptable, even with so much query money among the various states in the way they were distributed, additional is like adding insult to injury. Okay? Take the case of Federal Capital Territory, which I chance into part of the questions. Compare it with the zone. A zone, we're talking about a zone, not even Federal Capital Territory is not a state. You understand? Now you have a zone called Southeastern Zone. And then you have just, how do you explain it? It is very outrageous. It's very outrageous. How do you explain the mathematic, proportionality or improportionality or by whatever concatenation? Okay? How do you explain it? And you saw it was inexplicable on any manner of logic. Now talk about the higher level zone, southern Nigeria versus northern Nigeria. How do you explain that one zone, one single zone in the north could account or take care of the entire southern zone? What was the arithmetic? But now, it is also illogical because what is happening now is not informed either by facts or experience. Because what has happened is that because of the level of violence in many parts of the north, okay, there have been, mobility of people. Even talking about southeastern people, many of them have relocated. Even when some of them have abandoned their businesses for life, because at the inset of some of them were the targets. Now everybody is a target. So many people have relocated, including some people from the north. You see the plenitude of people who are riding Okada in Lagos now, Keke Marwa or Keke Napep, and those who are running around to see if they can get a mega job. They are people that feel they cannot safely operate or do anything down there. So there have been movement of people.
But he said in FCT too, that you have new polling areas and
please
new...
spare me that, Lord, because I'm telling you these things are not supported by facts and experience. Do you understand? And that is why, but in this country, that was the same logic that informed the disparate allocation of admission figures for the various zones. And we hope that time will take care of these things. These things don't heal like that. It doesn't happen like that. So this one is not going to be very easy because it is fundamental that we should see it from the perspective of the prediction that was made for this country, that 2015, there will be no Nigeria. This is the seed that will help to self-fulfill that particular obnoxious prophecy.
Well, we sincerely hope not.
That is a matter of hope. We have to kick against it. We don't have to hope or pray this time. We have to work against it.